I live to serve you, Lord Megatron. That's great, Dreadwing. So go make me an Energon smoothie. What are you kidding me right now? You heard me, Dreadwing. I am your master now and you will do as I say. Oh, I am such a douche.
Hello everybody, I am back and doing another review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Transformers Prime Cyberverse Dreadwing. So, anyway, now on to the review. Now, you can obviously see I have four things here. I have Dreadwing, Dreadwing's weapons, his tech specs card, which I cut off of the box, and his transformation instructions. Let's go over the instructions first. Here they are all folded up. Let's unfold them and see what treasures they can bring us. Alright, so here you have his instructions. You have Transformers Prime Dreadwing, Demolitions Expert, some parts you don't want to apply force to, warning choking hazard, ages 5 and up, no one cares, and since he's a Cyberverse figure, he's a 1 in regards to transformation. So, anyway, here's how you transform him into a vehicle. And everything's in purple because he's a Decepticon. And this is his vehicle mode. And here's how you change him into a robot. You start with his vehicle mode, do everything backwards, and you put in his weapons, and you'll have Hasbro, retain instructions for future use, product colors may vary, some copyright stuff, no one cares, and here's the PIN number. I have no idea why I read these, but the PIN number is 72543100000, and that's 4 zeros. I have no idea why I read those, but I just decided to do it. Anyway, with Transformers.com/instructions, you can always look at the instructions on Transformers.com. And nothing too exciting about the instructions. Besides, the fun part of the Transformers is the figure, not the instructions. Alright. So, those are the instructions. Now you have his tech specs. And even Cyberverse figures come with tech specs. I honestly don't know if Megatron did. If he did, I don't have his box anymore, so I can't get them. But anyway, here you have Series 2, number 5, Dreadwing, Demolitions Expert. Technical data, strength of 6. No, wait, the strength of 8. Strength of 8, intelligence of 8, speed of 8, endurance of 7, rank of 9, obviously because he was the first lieutenant for a while, until he was killed by Megatron for trying to assassinate Starscream. But anyway, you have a courage of 7, fire blast of 8, and skill of 5. And you have his Decepticon logo, and here he is in Transformers Prime. And here you have his weapons. Here you have like a sword and like a gun. You can peg them in his vehicle mode, but it's much easier in his robot mode. It makes a lot more sense. But anyway, on to Dreadwing himself. Here is Dreadwing in his jet mode. Now, in his jet mode, you have his colors are the indigo and the yellow gold color. You have the Decepticon logos on his wings that are stylized to look like World War II airplane logos, which actually look pretty cool. But one nitpick about all the jet transformers, all the airplane transformers, is that for pretty much almost every single airplane transformer, you have a huge jumble of limbs down here. The arms and legs are just like jumbled down here. If you look at it from the top, it looks okay, but if you look at it from the bottom, you would just have all the arms and legs jumbled down there. What the only exception is, Optibotanist reviewed 2 Transformers. It was like Thundercracker and Starscream, which are like pretty much very rare figures, very rare like display figures, and they're masterpiece figures, Masterpiece Thundercracker and Masterpiece Starscream. The limbs on them did not look as bad as they do for most other Transformers. Watch Optibotanist's review on the Masterpiece Thundercracker and or the Masterpiece Starscream. But on them, it didn't look so bad. But on Dreadwing, I mean, this just looks ugly. The Dark of the Moon Starscream also had that. And along with the Transformers Prime Starscream also had this huge jumble of limbs. Even Skyquake had these limbs. And so do the other sizes of Dreadwing also have these limbs. Which proves that making the airplane Transformers are some of the hardest to make, even for the companies. I mean, because I'm sure that they know that the fans do not like this jumble of limbs, and I mean, I bet they would have done something different, but I mean, obviously, making an airplane Transformer just doesn't seem easy. So they just couldn't do it. So anyway, but either way, he looks pretty cool. If you exclude these limbs down here, he looks pretty cool. You have landing gear there. You have the nice cockpit. You have this cockpit here, and then you have this spot of the spot that's the same color as the cockpit. So I believe this is the cockpit here. You have the nose cone, which is made out of plastic. Well, the nose cone is made out of a thick rubber. It's a little bit flexible, but the nose cone is made of a very thick rubber, so it's hard to bend, but it is made out of rubber, not plastic. And so yeah, Dreadwing, he looks pretty cool. Now let's move on to the transformation. To transform him, first what you want to do is untab the arms from the legs here, and these legs untab. You rotate them forward, and you flip the toes out. And sometimes the limbs can pop off, but on this figure it's an easy fix. They just pop right on like that. And yes, filming it in front of a camera isn't easy, but alright, there, now it's back on. That wasn't the first time that his legs had popped off. They popped off other times. But anyway, and this is a little bit tricky, but you'll get used to it quite quickly, I believe. That this whole part here, it's on a double hinge. You rotate it back, and you rotate it down, and you push it back like this. And here you have his body essentially transformed, and you leave this little space here for a tab. This tab here. Alright, so go to the top here. These parts here, you take out and fold out. And now this little part here goes down, and it should tab in there. You want to make sure these are moved out of the way so they don't interfere. Then you want to move them down and they become his shoulder pads. And last but not least, you can put in his weapons. You have his gun here, and you have his sword here. And yeah, alright. Sometimes they can be a little hard to put in, but anyway, here you have him in his robot mode. Now, I've got to say, he actually looks pretty cool in his robot mode, but my problem with the robot mode now is pretty much the opposite of the problem that it's similar, and the opposite of the problem that we had in his vehicle mode. In his vehicle mode, you had a huge jumble of the robot mode hanging down on the bottom, but here on his back, you have a huge jumble of the vehicle mode. Here, this part doesn't transform at all. It's pretty much just, it looks very, very similar to the vehicle mode. It's pretty much just a piece of a jet glued on his back. So either in both the vehicle and the robot mode, you have the alternate mode hanging down from the bottom or from the invisible side. So that's just really bothers me. So yeah, but anyway, from the front here, he looks pretty cool. From the back here, not so much. But anyway, on to the robot mode. As far as articulation goes, you have no articulation in the ankle, as always. Bionicles do, but Transformers do not. You have articulation in the knee, articulation in the hip, and again, these legs pop off quite easily, but it's an easy fix. You have no articulation in the wrist, and you have, again, Bionicles do, but Transformers do not in the wrist. You have articulation at the elbow, and they can rotate 360 degrees, something that Bionicles cannot. And you have articulation in the shoulder, again pretty cool, and that goes for both arms. And like a lot of Cyberverse figures, he does not have any articulation in the head. If you get up to at least a deluxe size figure, maybe a Legion figure, but at least a deluxe size figure, most deluxe size figures have articulation in the head, but unfortunately most Cyberverse figures do not. But he does look pretty cool. You have his nice big shoulder pads here. And as we all know, if you watch Transformers Prime like I do, he has a twin brother named Skyquake. Skyquake is pretty much the exact same thing as Dreadwing. Same transformations, same everything. Probably even the same weapons, but the only difference is that Dreadwing is green and silver instead of indigo and gold like Dreadwing is. That's Skyquake and Dreadwing are pretty much identical twins, only different colors. And the only way to get Skyquake, not Dreadwing, Skyquake, is pretty much to buy him along with two other Transformers. I forgot what they were, but you couldn't buy. It's pretty much a package deal if you want Skyquake, and I don't believe Skyquake came in the deluxe size. He only comes in one size, which is I don't think it's a deluxe, I think it's like a Voyager size that Skyquake comes in, but that's pretty much the only way to get Skyquake is to buy him with the package with two other Transformers. I believe one of them is Ultra Magnus, and I forgot the other one, but again, finding Skyquake is not that easy. In fact, Skyquake was the last Robots in Disguise figure to be released. Well, that's what Optibotimus said. So, anyway, Dreadwing's pretty cool. I quite like him. Color scheme's nice. The only two problems we have is the alternate mode hanging off of the other side that we don't usually look at. In the vehicle mode, the robot mode is shown on the bottom. But anyway, the thing is that, sure, other Transformers, if you look at the bottom, you can see the the robot mode if they're in the vehicle mode, but on Dreadwing, on them, it's not like hanging out of the bottom like it is on Dreadwing and most of the other airplane Transformers. But now you have him in his robot mode, you have pretty much the barely transformed at all vehicle mode basically glued to his back. So those are the main two problems. Many other people are complaining about the giant massive limbs that hang down on most airplane Transformers, but still, other than that, he's still a pretty good figure. So to transform him back, what you want to do is take out his weapons if they're in his hands already. Now what you want to do is take this part, rotate it up like this, and these two parts basically accordion inward to form that. And now what you want to do is take this this part's on a double hinge, you pull it out, fold it back, and the whole thing folds forward. You push the whole thing forward, and again, his leg came off again. But again, it's an easy fix. It doesn't look like it's going to be doing any permanent damage anytime soon. But anyway, back to the transformation. You fold the toes out, and you rotate it in so the toes are on the inside. And there's little tabs here, and there's little tab holes here. And so it tabs in right here and here. And again, this is harder to do because I have to do it in front of a camera. But I think I got it now. Oh, wait, it keeps popping out. Let me do it in front of myself. Alright. Alright, so now I got it. Now what you want to do is, last but not least, you peg the arms into the legs. And again, his leg keeps popping out. That's the good leg that doesn't keep coming out of its socket. But anyway, here you have him back in his vehicle mode, and like I said, you can there's places on his arms and on his wings that you can put the weapons in. But again, the weapons don't really look good on the vehicle mode. They shine on the robot mode, not the vehicle mode. But anyway, I'm going to rate him now because this is getting to the end of the review. I'm going to rate his vehicle mode. I'm going to rate his vehicle mode an 8 out of 10. Well, no, I'm going to rate it a 7 out of 10. It's simply because of this huge mass of limbs down here that's basically hanging out from his bottom side for his vehicle mode. And for his robot mode, I'm going to rate an 8 out of 10 just because that on his robot mode, the vehicle mode on his the back part of his the vehicle part on the back of him on his robot mode isn't as annoying as the limbs on his vehicle mode. The robot mode hanging out from the bottom of the vehicle mode is much more annoying than the vehicle mode hanging out on the robot mode. It's yeah, but still, like I said, most of the airplane transformers have this annoyance. I know I already listed you some. Probably the ones that have this the least are the Masterpiece Thundercracker and the Masterpiece Starscream, which Optibotimus reviewed. You can watch his review of them, just search it on YouTube, of the Masterpiece Thundercracker and Starscream. It has it a little bit, but it's to a much, much less extent than on Dreadwing, or on Dark of the Moon Starscream, or on Transformers Prime Starscream, or Skyquaker Dreadwing, or anyone like that. But anyway, I quite like him. Other than that, he's pretty good. Even for a Cyberverse figure, I like him. If you can find him, I recommend picking him up. He's a nice Transformer to have to your collection, simply because it's always nice to have like a main character Transformer, such as Optimus Prime, or Bumblebee, or Megatron, or Starscream in your collection. But again, it's nice to have a lessly mentioned Transformer like Dreadwing. I believe Dreadwing only existed in Transformers Prime and not any other franchise. But so it's nice to have him. Do I recommend him? Yes, I recommend him. Even though the giant mass of limbs under his vehicle mode, I still think you should get him if you can tolerate that. But still, it's very, very annoying. It just doesn't look right at all. But anyway, I'm signing off now, and goodbye.